Is Katelyn Deslandes alive to tell about it and 2 kids are dead? Well, that's a question y'all ought to be asking your own damn selves. And when I tell you that, it's because I know I last year and years before that had been bitching about it, the drug use, the drug making, the drug taking, drug distribution, every single bit of it, to Jeffrey Noyes, way back to Teddy Miller. Okay, and to the Vermont State Police, and to the state's attorneys. Why? Because my daughter is a victim of the bullshit as well, knowing that she's friends with the Deslandes. She dated the Deslandes. We're neighbors of the Deslandes. Friends of some of the Deslandes. Yeah. Katelyn being seen every day. Whether she was messed up on drugs or not, I don't know. I'm not the judge of that to tell you that, but I can tell you right now that the possibility that she was on medications from Northeast Kingdom Mental Health Services, which intensifies their drug use, which actually probably is the culprit that started their drug use, that's probably why the toxicology report didn't get done when it should have. Because it probably would have prevailed that Katelyn perhaps may have been on pills prescribed to her, as well as the heroin, and stop using marijuana as a fucking excuse, because marijuana is not a culprit, okay? Marijuana is a plant that's medicinal. Heroin's not medicinal. It's man-made and prescribed by, through pill form, and then made by the ones that get the pill form. So how about that? Instead of laying the blame all on the kids, why don't we lay the blame where it belongs, which would be where? With the government and state officials. Because I tell you right now, when I tell you I made reports in regards to the drug use that led to my daughter being locked up out of retaliation. What did I just say? I reported the drug use in Island Pond. That includes the Deslandes making, taking, and distributing, as well as the Bickfords, the Morris, the Yates, Cerrone, Martin, okay, Du Bois. There's a lot of drugs floating around. And because I came forward, and I've got statements, I'm looking for them right now as I'm talking to you. I submitted statements in regards to the drug use. Those are just pictures of the statements that I submitted to Vermont State Police, as well as Jeffrey Noyes and the town of Island Pond. And as a result, you know what happened? They decided to tell my daughter, out of retaliation, through doctor's visits at Island Pond, that if she didn't start taking medication for depression, then they were going to have to involve DCF. And so what happened? They started giving my daughter medications with the threats that they were going to take my grandson from her. For what purpose? She didn't need that shit. She was thriving and striving and taking care of her own son, taking care of her apartment, and having to deal with all the bullshit that was surrounding us at 109 Railroad Street, Island Pond, which is known as the Beehive. You had drugs being made, sold, taken, and distributed, all in that apartment building. I complained to the landlord about it, Michael Hatton. He didn't do anything about it. He then told me back in April of 2021, on April 1st, that I needed to take my daughter and my grandson and get out in the middle of the night because they were after me. He wouldn't tell me who, but he told me he couldn't believe the people that were after me and we needed to go for our own safety. Then he locked us out of our apartment because why? He was probably afraid that he was going to lose another building because they were after us. They shot at an apartment, at a house in Island Pond. Remember that? Back over the spring when they shot at the house next to me with the kids in it? And they cut my brake lines and did all kinds of stuff. That's the same thing that Mark Newell did. Fuck with my car a couple of years ago when he works for the Federal Corrections Office. He has a cabin up there by the airline where that one-man accident was with the plane. That's all official related, isn't it? And the guns that came up missing in Island Pond, and then Katelyn Deslandes' dad that got busted a few times with heroin, most recently in 2019, but he got off those charges because it was technicality. Okay? So I'm going to tell you right now that I know the drug activity has gone on. It's been reported. Go to Michelle Wilcox at the library in Island Pond and find out how many times I have gone there and picked up paperwork that she's printed for me for the statements against the drug use and the statements that I've made to the police and the courts about these situations. And perhaps if your officials in the state of Vermont that you elect in and that you pay tax dollars to, and I say you because I am refusing to pay taxes to support the corruptness that's been happening to my family, okay? And so with that being said, I'm going to let you know. I'm still looking for these photos. You hold on. Okay, here we go. There's some more copies of reports. Those were back in March. And that was all in regards to the people that were doing the drugs, making the drugs, and acting out at the Island Pond Beehive on 109 Railroad Street. And that's the home that's located right across from the American Legion, the big gray apartment building. There you go. There's more reports to the Vermont State Police about the drug use happening in Island Pond and the distribution, and letters to the landlord in regards to the smell of the makings of drugs in the hallway. And I have a medical condition with a pacemaker, and knowing that there were kids in the building and this drug activity, the smell of it, the fumes of it was coming across. And now I'm on 3rd floor, okay? And while I was gone and this shit was being done, somebody went into my apartment while I was in Nantucket visiting family. They went into my apartment, opened up my windows, and when I got back, I still have the letters on here. I'm going through them. My landlord told me that he got a complaint that my windows were open upstairs, okay? There's no way that could have happened by me because I'm not stupid like that. But I'm just letting you know that there is a lot of drug activity that's on 109 Railroad Street. And like I said, you don't have to believe me, but I got the proof. I just showed you pictures of the statements. And if you go to Michelle Wilcox at the library in Island Pond, request the copies of the statements back on February 2020. Now, remind you that Michael Hatton, my landlord that knew about the drug activity, was perhaps maybe Katelyn Deslandes' landlord too. Ever think about that? Real close apartment buildings, landlords, family, and friends now, I'm telling you. Okay? I know. I'm telling you the truth. And you either take it and do something with it, or I'll continue to blame you because I'm telling you, I'm showing you. There's another letter, okay, to Michael Hatton about the drug use in his apartment buildings. And that was on March 1st, 2021. And then my daughter and I started getting retaliated against. And you see all those pictures? Well, those are statements and complaints about the drug activity and requests for Jeffrey Noyes to be investigated in the lawsuit I filed. Because Jeffrey Noyes, after me reporting, and here's Janine sending the lawsuits out, okay? After that, Jeffrey Noyes was threatening my life, and I reported it, you see? This day here, where I'm at that stop sign, that's the day that Jeffrey Noyes, so it's time dated, threatened my life. I reported it, I recorded it. Okay? And nothing got done about it. And why did he threaten my life? Well, because I'm doing what I do. I'm telling the public about the heroin epidemic. And when that happened, like I said, I started getting retaliated against. Got locked out of my apartment. I was getting charged with false reports and fictitious reports being made to the police, and the thing is, they accepted them, okay, from the guy that was making the drugs. And they charged me with a misconduct, disorderly conduct kind of charge, a misdemeanor. Oh, well, here's a picture of the car that the non-licensed driver that was making and taking the drugs as well as selling them was driving without a license, okay? That's on Main Street, on Railroad Street in Island Pond last year, reported to Jeffrey Noyes. Now, mind you, I'm telling you, when I tell you, I know what I'm talking about, and these people abused my daughter by giving her the wrong medications and then turned around and had her locked up in Brattleboro Retreat. And then, because I filed lawsuits, they turn around and they put her back on medications and tell her if she doesn't take them, she's going to go through DCF with her son. They started continuously badgering my daughter, allowing the drugs to be made. This is all last year, 2021. That leads up to right now today, February 25th, 2022. To the point where they had her so bad off and letting her get abused, and you've heard Island Pond domestic violence, okay? And you hear the landlord's wife saying that I had to take my daughter and get out of there because for her safety and my grandson's safety and mine too. That was in May. And then they went, DCF went and took my grandson because, I reported again my daughter being abused and my grandson too by the people that are making the drugs. Now the ones that are making the drugs have custody of my grandson. And my daughter's not allowed to see him, and I still have charges pending because I stuck up for all of you. And when I say I stuck up for all of you, I just showed you reports that I made to the police to try to get the drugs stopped from being made and distributed in our kingdom. And it didn't happen because obviously it just claimed the lives of 2 children that could have been prevented. And as a result of them drugging my daughter through mental health services like I was talking about before, TJ Donovan, the Attorney General, had her locked up in Rutland Regional Medical Center and shot her up with ketamine. And then this guy named Willie O'Keefe went and picked her up when she was released. And she was found by a United States postal worker in Island Pond so messed up from these drugs out of retaliation because I reported for all of you to try to get the Northeast Kingdom cleaned up. So they retaliated against me and my daughter. They locked us out of our own homes. They took my grandson. They drugged my daughter, nearly killed her, and then she disappeared. She was found in a sex trafficking ring, people. My daughter, Brianna Knights, was found in sex trafficking after she was locked up from Island Pond for my reports to try to save all of you and your children from being overdosed and being drugged and ending up dead. Okay? They retaliated. Locked us out of our apartments. We didn't owe anything. Not even an explanation. So why is it that me and my daughter lost our apartments, my grandson gets taken, and this all happens after I report to you everything that happened? Why? Why did it have to happen like that? I don't know, but I'm telling you, that's what happened. And I'm still looking for the pictures. Hold on. Because it seems like, for some reason, I'm not being able to get into and access my information. I just had to reset my accounts, and I've told you before, my stuff from YouTube under my other subscription all disappeared, and it had all the information. Every bit of it, conversations and all. But I'm still going to get to it, and I'll be right back. I want you to take a good look at that. Do you see that shit on that cloth right there? That was shoved into that piece of material there. They're the straws Here's the report. Due to the fact that my daughter was abused because she tried to dump the drugs that she found in the roommate, Aaron Ordway's room. She had woken up to them coughing. It's all on audio record, being told to the police and report. She woke up to them coughing in her house. I had previously reported the drug activity. And then Kevin abused my daughter. She had Jacoby in her arms. They fell to the floor. He got a bump on his head. She got beat up. She's calling the cops. I've got it on audio record. I have shared it here to YouTube. And as a result, my daughter ended up locked up. Here's some more of the picture of it. Okay? So why is it? And then she was kicking him out because she had had enough. The landlord wouldn't do anything. And the landlord's wife said that's what she had to do. Now, mind you, it all started when I was running for state representative. Like I told you, I was running to be your state rep so that we could help make a difference so this shit wouldn't happen. And after that, my daughter went missing. And before she went missing, that was my daughter. And then Northeast Kingdom Mental Health Services put her on medications. Because why? Because she was telling them about Kevin abusing her. Okay? So then she goes and gets locked up on an involuntary medical hold. And then she goes missing. She got abused at Rutland Regional Medical Center, folks. I heard it, I recorded it, and I reported it. And all the audio recordings came up missing. I'm going to have you know, there's no coincidence to that picture right there. Okay? Start looking into what's going on. And then you tell me why these kids are dead. And why my daughter went missing. There is what I believe to be a cover-up with the police. And all of them. Because I reported my daughter being abused and the drugs being distributed in Island Pond, Vermont. This is just in 2021. My daughter went missing. Now, the ones that were reported never got investigated, and now they have custody of my grandchildren? Are you kidding me? I didn't write fictitious reports, folks. I reported it, and they did nothing. Call Vermont State Police headquarters and find out where all these reports are that I made in regards to the drug activity in Island Pond. And then you tell me why these kids are dead. Okay? It didn't just happen with Katelyn. This is my daughter before she was taken by Northeast Kingdom Mental Health Services. That was Christmas of 2020. And then I'm going to show you. I just showed you. She went missing because February of 2021, after we had a meeting in January of 2021, they conspired against my daughter and myself. Put her on depression medications. Did she look depressed there? No, she wasn't on anything. Okay? Clean from being an addict. Clean from mental health services, and she was doing well. She was making clothing, she was selling clothes, and then I had to go on a mission. I had a phone call that my daughter went missing. And it was in the NCIC, folks. This is all because of Northeast Kingdom Mental Health Services, I'm telling you. And now I'm going to show you, as a result, my daughter was found in human trafficking from Vermont to the hospital in Florida. And I'm trying to find her pictures because I'm going to show them. Hold on. These were all audio recorded videos of what happened to Brianna. Calls to the police. Okay? Because she went missing from and ended up. That's the chief of police at Daytona Beach, Michael Chitwood. You see all this? I had to go on a mission and go find Brianna. Because of what Island Pond, Vermont did to her. And the Northeast Kingdom Mental Health Service. I shouldn't have had to go looking for my daughter no more than my daughter should have ever gone missing. So, can we get some answers here? Can you all start working with me instead of against me so that I can start helping you? Because I'm showing you what my daughter and I went through to help you. And I got more.